Hittin hard with Jon Chuckery at Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com. Locked On Sports Atlanta is what you put in your search browser. When you get to our page, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Free and available to download all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Also now on Amazon Fire and Roku. Check us out there. Of course, follow me at JMCH316 on Twitter. So yesterday, one news that the Falcons made on their off day, excuse me, is that the Falcons converted $8.5 million of Deion Jones' salary into a bonus with 3 voidable years added. That's always the get out of a contract for $6.8 million. Jones will get his salary payout sooner as part of the deal. So, of course, this was spun as, well, the Falcons opened up some cap space and all that. Okay, who's all these guys that they're bringing in? I must have missed, because I follow all the beat writers and I know all the beat writers, and I do follow all the news and everything. I must have missed all of the signings and all the free agents and all the people, because they did sign. They did bring Ferkser up and sign him to the regular squad, and then they added a guy to their practice squad. So maybe I missed all of these high caliber free agents that they brought in, because I don't remember seeing any of those guys up in Flowery Branch or hearing about reports out of all of it. So what exactly is freeing up cap space mean? Yeah, great. We freed up $6 or $7 million. That really is a help in the week 2 of the NFL season. This is very simple, okay? Let me explain it to you as easy as I can, because there are still some of you out there that just don't want to believe this, okay? This means that a team that takes on Deion Jones' contract has somewhere around a couple of $1 million of salary that they have to take on for this year, because a lot of his money is getting converted into bonus, which means the Falcons will pay that out. This is the Falcons' way of saying, hey, teams in the NFL, hey, we're picking up money for Deion Jones' contract. You're not going to be on the hook for all of it, right? Because this is the game you have to play in today's NFL. We saw this with Baker Mayfield, right? Browns didn't want to pick up all of his money and all that. So you work out a deal, you rig a deal, right? You cook the books and all this kind of stuff, and you figure out a way to make a trade where one team isn't stuck with all the salary, right? That's what this is. As I keep saying here, very simply, Deion Jones playing for the Falcons is not going to happen. It's not going to just magically all of a sudden in week 5, that all of a sudden he's going to be back on the field running around, and here's good old 45 back in the mix. They are setting up since March. They have set up every single domino to fall to tell you that they're moving on from Deion Jones without coming out and saying, we're moving on from Deion Jones. They're playing everything politically correct. Oh, he's coming back, and he's going to have to fight, and he's going to have to scratch, and he's going to have to claw, and he's going to have to do this. And then when your head coach, all you needed to know was when your head coach came out and said, he's going to have a tough time getting on the field. We got all these other guys. 3 years ago, that would have been an improbability to say that Deion's coming out there. So, again, however you teams, Falcons, Bubba and Buford wants to spin all this, this is not about cap space. This is not about finding a way to free up money for, more guys to come in. They have money. I wish they would bring in interior defensive line help. I wish they would bring that in. Because, look, with all due respect, having more guys on your defensive front, especially when you had to kind of play your kind of rotational backup guys at the end of that game, you need all those guys that you can get. Now, we'll talk more about this in just a second, but first, let me talk about my friends over at Coffee AM. Listen, you know that these folks are my favorites. They are the best small batch coffee roaster in America. They are right here in the state of Georgia, right up in the Canton area. Coffee AM has got the best selection of coffees that you want to try out. So head to coffeeam.com/lockedon. Coffeeam.com/lockedon. When you get there, check out the menu and the products that they have. You need K-Cups, they got that. You want organic coffees, they got that. You want flavored coffee, they got that. You need tea, they got that. You need a gift set, they got all of that. So when you get to coffeeam.com/lockedon, check their menu out, put that first order together. And when you get that first order all put together and you get to the checkout, Use the promo code Locked On, LOCKEDON, Locked On. Use that promo code at checkout, and you'll get 15% off your first order at Coffee AM. So head there today, coffeeam.com/locked on. Put together that first order. I promise you're going to be glad that you get these guys coffee. I'm going through bags fast as I can. I drink multiple cups of it every single morning. 15% off by simply using the coupon code Locked On at checkout. Coffeeam.com, the best small batch coffee roaster in America. So I wish we'd bring in Ndamukong Suh or, Sheldon Richardson or something like that. I wish we would bring in one of those guys. I'd be more than happy to free up cap space to bring one of those guys in. But this has nothing to do with all of that. And look, Michael Walker is the guy with the green sticker on his helmet now, right? He's the guy that the coaches are talking to. He's got the earpiece in, right? He's kind of the captain of their defense now. It's a new era. Rashaan Evans, I said, he's going to lead this team in tackles this year. I think they're very happy. And then obviously Troy Anderson and guys like that, I think they're very happy with what they've got and the style of player that they have. And look, Deion Jones still has ability in this league and can go to the right situation and find himself starting and playing regularly. But this isn't it. And I still am amazed that people just don't want to seem to understand that this coaching staff doesn't feel like he's a fit for their defense. If they thought with this roster that he was a fit for their defense, he'd be on the field playing. Okay? And it wouldn't be the Rodney, my arm. I think my arm's broken. Magically that happened, whatever, after the final preseason game where he gave a big look-see to all the teams around the league. So we'll see what ends up happening, but they've done everything possible with his surgery, with training camp, with IR designations, with PUP lists, with salary restructures, because that's the big thing that's held them up, right? This is the last resort, is when you get into, okay, we got to change the money around and this, that, and the other. Oh, but look, we freed up cap space and all that kind of stuff. No, Falcons are just paying a bunch of money to Deion Jones to make it easier for teams to want to bring him on. And at this point, if you're going to move on, just move on. See, I told you, they don't want to cut Deion Jones. They don't want to just cut him and get nothing for him. Even if you get a nothing draft pick, that's better than letting him just walk on the streets and go play somewhere else and help another team out. So great. We got cap space now. Cool. Bring guys in. I mean, if you really did free up cap space, which they did, I mean, financially, yes, they freed up cap space. But much like we talked about yesterday, that an unused weapon is a useless weapon, unused cap space is useless cap space. You can roll some cap space over to the next year. But remember, we're all being sold on, we got $100-something million next year. So $3 or $4 or $5 million rolled over to next year in $100-something million doesn't mean a whole lot. That's bupkis. So this is all about making it easy to head on from Deion Jones. And I think by the time we get back into Atlanta and they're coming home to play the Cleveland Browns, because they're going to have a decision to make, that's when I think they'll pull the trigger. And now they've made this thing easier. Who knows? This may happen sooner rather than later now that they made it easy for teams to take on his salary, but he's not going to play again for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, when we come back, Dansby will be the ultimate test. I'll explain next. Hittin with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta.